The Fortnite Pro-Am is back with a brand new format and a ton of new creators, some who don't normally play Fortnite. This tournament will look completely different from last year. So today I'm going to be ranking every single duo based on who I think has the best chance to win. This year's Pro-Am will be a 6-game reload duos tournament happening on Sunday. And the first duo we're going to rank is Bri and Frantic. Bri and Frantic are one of the top duos when it comes to chemistry. Both players are controller players. They've played a ton of zone wars together. And with how strong controller and aim assist is right now, they definitely have a decent advantage. Frantic is also one of the best female competitive Fortnite players, so unlike some of the teams that are pairing a pro with somebody who's barely played Fortnite, this is basically two competitive players on the same team. They're going to end up doing extremely well in this tournament and finish near the top, so I'm going to give them an S tier ranking. Next, we have Veno and stable Ronaldo. The main problem for this team is going to be the vibes. On paper, they should be a pretty solid team in this tournament. They're both FNCS champions, which makes Juan the only creator out of everyone who has an FNCS win. But we just saw this team play together in a Div Cup and the vibes were absolutely in shambles. Juan even mentioned that he didn't even want to play if he had to team up with Veno or Clix. They also both struggle with doing bad in tournaments, and coming back from that mentally can be a very big challenge. If they have one or two bad games in a row, we might even see some of the lesser experienced teams outplace them. So I'm going to rank them in the could surprise everyone or come in dead last category. Next, we have Bolts and Primate Page. Bolts is one of the best fighters in this lobby. Unfortunately, though, I think he's going to have to do almost all of the fighting. Page mainly plays zero build, and from the Fortnite gameplay we've seen, she's still learning the basics of build mode. She has plenty of gaming experience and was even invited back to Kai Cenat's Streamer University this year. I do not expect her to do that well in a build Fortnite tournament with these pros in the lobby. This team might come near the bottom of the leaderboard, so I'm going to put them in D tier. Now, I don't want anybody to take offense. These rankings are just my personal opinion. I hope everybody does better than they expected. And if you guys are wondering, I was invited to this Pro-Am, but unfortunately, I could not make it. Next, we have Poyo and Jinxy. Now, hear me out. This team could either win the tournament or come in last place. Poyo has already shown he can clutch against multiple pros by himself, so he honestly might not even need Jinxy's help. The smartest thing that Jinxy can do is actually just stay alive since it's reload, and then Poyo can just run around W-keying teams and he can reboot if he ends up going down. Poyo was feeling confident up until he saw some clips of Jinxy playing and thought someone might have sent him an AI clip. The crazy thing is that Jinxy actually wants to take this seriously and has been practicing. If he can simply survive fights and let Poyo do what Poyo does best, this team could genuinely shock everyone. Or they're going to be in last place, and that's where I'm ranking them. Next up is Ritual and Ricky. Ritual has been one of North America's most underrated pros for years. And then we have Ricky, mostly known for Rainbow Six Siege, but he's also played plenty of other shooters like Call of Duty, Valorant, Arc Raiders, and aim usually transfers pretty well between these games. So if Ricky can get comfortable enough, we might be able to see him get a few kills for this duo. And they might even place higher than people expect them, so I'm going to put them in C tier. Next up is V and Crackley. This might be one of the most underrated teams in the tournament. A lot of people are probably going to be overlooking them because Crackley hasn't competed in Fortnite build mode recently. But he actually has a competitive background and plenty of experience in zero build, which means he's going to have fantastic aim. Then there's V, who's been one of the best players on West for a while. He recently qualified for the Summit LAN with Canada and ended up finishing in 32nd. Compared to some of the other Pro-Am teams, this duo has both players with legitimate competitive experience, and they both play a ton of Fortnite. Now, I don't know if they're going to be favorites to win, but I can see them sneaking into the top 5, so I'm going to put them in A tier. Next is World Cup champion Buoygga and Yuji. It feels weird putting Buoygga this low, but it's going to come down to his teammate. Last year, Buoygga and Typical Gamer finished 14th, and I have to say, Typical Gamer is a much better Fortnite player than Yuji. Yuji is another IRL streamer, and we don't really see much of his Fortnite experience. The good news is that Buoygga has been grinding this season, and he recently qualified for the Esports World Cup LAN. And since this is a reload tournament, I don't expect him to come in last, and I honestly wouldn't be shocked to see Buoygga carry his team much higher than predicted, but for now, I'm going to put them in D tier. Next is Clix and Lacy. And I honestly want to put Clix and Lacy in S tier, but I just don't know how prepared they're gonna be. Lacy has been taking Fortnite seriously lately, grinding Division Cups with Arc and improving way more than people expected. Plus, he hurt his knee and is stuck having to do more desktop content. The concern is Clix. He's been on vacation and won't really have a lot of time to practice before the tournament. We already know that these two have chemistry, and they have won a game during last year's Pro-Am, but they still only finished 10th overall. Now, if they lock in, they could possibly place really well, but I'm not sure if they're winning at all. So for now, it's A tier. Next up is Kanata and Arky. I think Kanata is going to come into this tournament with one mentality: have Arky keep himself alive. Last year, Kanata finished 5th with stable Ronaldo, and Ron wasn't nearly as active on Fortnite as he is now. Kanata is one of the most competitive players, so I wouldn't be surprised if he plays this tournament out by telling Arky to stay boxed up while he goes around looking for eliminations. Arky isn't an incredible Fortnite player, but he can build and he understands the basics. And honestly, this might be all that Kanata needs for him to stay alive. If Arky does manage to stay alive, they will most likely place in the middle of the pack, maybe slightly better. They could surprise everyone, but they also could come in dead last. So I'm going to rank them C tier. Next is Agers and Hampy. Hampy has more gaming experience than people realize. He's competed in Fortnite before, played Halo, spends a lot of time on Valorant, and even carried Peterbot. That should at least give him some experience to survive fights, but we have to talk about Agers here, because he has a history of getting sick around LAN events, which causes his performance to suffer. So if he's playing at 100%, this team should finish around the middle of the pack. I'm going to put them in C tier. Next, we have Higs and Braden. Braden mainly creates IRL content, and while we did find footage of him playing Valorant, nothing we see really suggests he's going to be comfortable in competitive Fortnite. Higgs is one of the smartest players when it comes to surviving, but for this tournament, you're going to need eliminations. This might be another duo where we see Higgs do his best to keep Braden alive so that he always has a reboot available. Braden's most likely just going to sit in a box or a bush and not make a noise. We're going to have to see how they decide to play out this tournament, but hopefully they do better than expected, because for now, I'm putting them in D tier. Next is Spinx and Raw Dog Moon. This is going to be a middle of the pack team. Raw Dog Moon is a Valorant streamer, and he does have some Fortnite experience. He did look a bit lost in the 1v1 we saw him do, but at least he can build and has keybinds set up, so he should be able to keep himself alive. Now, I don't expect this team to win it, but I also don't expect them to come in last. I'm putting them in C tier. All right, now we got to rank Peterbot and Faxity. Peterbot and Faxity are definitely the favorites to win this entire tournament. They play together all the time and have incredible chemistry. They are good enough to win, but the question is, does Peterbot care to win? He already said he doesn't care about taking this tournament seriously since there's no trophy on the line. Last year, Peter dominated because Aussie played the perfect support role. He basically followed Peter around, carrying heals like a loot llama. Faxity is mechanically a stronger player than Aussie, but he's much more aggressive and tends to ignore comms. We get to see whether that helps or hurts them, but Peterbot commonly gets the highest amount of eliminations in tournaments, and if there isn't some sort of elimination cap, this team has it in the bag. I'm putting them in the #1 spot of S tier. Next is Yamzo and Yousef. Yousef is mainly an IRL streamer and reaction creator, and after looking through his content, we really couldn't find much recent gaming outside of appearances in Jinxy's League of Legends tournament. He has played Fortnite before, mostly during OG, so he at least knows the basics, and he did come back when Fortnite OG returned, but I don't know if he got a single kill. Yamzo also didn't compete in last year's Pro-Am, so it's hard to know exactly what to expect from this duo. If Yousef can simply survive and avoid becoming free eliminations, they could outperform expectations. I'm putting them in C tier. Next is Cooper and Zemie. We need to keep an eye on this duo. They finished 2nd place last time to Peter and Aussie and weren't that far from winning. Cooper did a great job at leading the team, and they were incredibly consistent, finishing top 3 in 4 out of the 6 games. The only thing they couldn't keep up with was Peterbot's eliminations. This reload meta does favor Zemie's playstyle, which should help him get more eliminations for his team. And if Peter isn't trying as hard, Cooper and Zemie definitely have what it takes to win it all. I'm putting them in S tier right behind Peterbot and Faxity. Next is Rise and A2 Guapo. A2 Guapo played Valorant for a while, but it looks like he's more focused on IRL content now. He seemed to be pretty good at Valorant, which may give him some decent aim going into Fortnite. But with no real experience building, it might be hard for him to stay alive, which is going to be very important this tournament. And out of all the pros, Rise doesn't really grind as much as the others in this tournament. If he had a stronger creator, this team could do better, but with not much experience, I'm probably putting them in D tier. Next up is Acorn and Muda. Acorn and Muda are another team that could surprise a lot of people. Muda is mostly known for Valorant, but he has been trending recently for the wrong reasons. He's actually a lot better at Fortnite than people give him credit for. He recently did 1v1s against Faxity, and he low-key impressed a lot of people watching. Then you pair him with Acorn, who is one of the most consistent pros in North America, and I don't think they're going to end up winning this tournament, but I could definitely see them outperforming expectations. So I'm going to put them in the could surprise everyone or come in dead last category. Next is Rapid and Typical Gamer. If you're not wanting to see Peterbot win, Typical Gamer is your best chance. He had an insane clip on him during last year's Pro-Am, and since then he's been grinding competitive Fortnite instead of just making content. Rapid is one of the smartest IGLs in North America, and he recently finished 18th at the Summit LAN. And TG also finished 14th at last year's Pro-Am. With a strong IGL in his team and one of the better creators in this tournament, I'm putting them at the bottom of S tier. And honestly, between them and Clicks and Lacy, it's really not much of a gap. So like, if you wanted to put them at the top of A tier, that also works too. Now that I'm looking at it, I think the top of A tier is more appropriate. But they also could win. It's going to come down to how many eliminations they can actually rack up. Next is Queezy and Ash out. Originally, it was going to be Cold and Ash, but Cold dropped out of the tournament. Either he didn't think he would do well, or he wanted to team up with Frantic and that didn't work out. But Queezy has taken his spot since he's been in NA. Ash Alk mainly does IRL content, and outside of a couple of clips, we really couldn't find much gaming content from him. Queezy is one of the best IGLs in the history of the game, but he's had kind of an off couple of seasons and hasn't been qualifying for tournaments like we're used to seeing from him. So for that reason, I'm putting this team in D tier. And last but not least, we have Muzz and Somerset. A lot of people are sleeping on this duo. Somerset might be listed as a creator, but she's actually Division 1 on NA Central and has years of competitive experience as well as earnings. Last year's Pro-Am, she was with Thomas HD, and it didn't really go her way, but she's a much stronger player than people give her credit for. And then you have Muzz, who's consistently one of the best fighters in North America, and we basically have another duo of two competitive players, so I'm going to put them in the middle of A tier. The Pro-Am is this Sunday, and while I'm not attending, I might be doing a watch party for it. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys in the next one.